Some of the most difficult roundabouts aren't necessarily the biggest ones. In fact, some of the smaller roundabouts that act as hubs for a town's traffic can be among the most challenging. And Glasgow Road roundabout in Perth is a perfect example. It's not particularly big, but it can get extremely busy, especially during rush hour, with traffic approaching from different directions and lots happening at the same time. The real challenge is being able to read the roundabout correctly and make the right decisions in a very short space of time. And to do that, we need to understand how the roundabout works. The lane layout, positioning, indicators, speed, the body language of other road users, and how to use blockers effectively. So, in this video, we're going to focus specifically on Glasgow Road roundabout in Perth. But more importantly, we'll use this roundabout to understand the principles that apply to many other busy roundabouts. Because once you understand how to read a roundabout, how to identify the correct lane, and how to anticipate other traffic, even complicated-looking situations become much easier to deal with. So let's dive in. In part 1, we are going to look at the right turn from Riggs Road towards Glasgow Road, Broxton. To keep things consistent across the series, we'll use the same map view throughout, with north always at the top. We'll cover the east, south, and west approaches in the following videos. But today we are focusing on the northern approach, from Riggs Road. This is one of the trickiest emerges, as the fence on the right can significantly restrict our view of traffic approaching from the right. That's why we should always approach slowly and be prepared to stop if necessary. Once we've checked our mirrors and signaled, we move into the appropriate lane for turning right. As mentioned earlier, we are planning to stop, but at the same time, we are looking at the traffic and assessing our options. Think of the roundabout as the face of a clock. We are approaching from 6 o'clock, with 12 o'clock directly opposite us. The basic rule is the same as at any other roundabout: we give way to traffic approaching from the right. However, it's very important to understand where that traffic is going. We can work this out by looking at their lane markings, indicators, and any other clues that might suggest their intentions. Based on the information we've gathered, we can assume that the purple car is most likely turning left. However, the bus behind it could be going straight ahead or turning left. Based on its positioning, the red car is going straight ahead, while the yellow car is turning right. Once all the traffic has cleared, we can proceed safely. However, busy roundabouts are rarely as straightforward as the example we've just looked at. You'll often have traffic approaching from your right, but also from straight ahead or even from your left. If you can work out where these vehicles are likely to go, they can actually help you understand what's happening and make the right decision. Let's look at each vehicle, work out where it could be going, and see how that can help us make the right decision. Let's start with the blue vehicle opposite us. Based on its position and the lane markings, it has two options: it can either turn left or go straight ahead towards us. If it's turning left, it won't really help us. But if it's going straight ahead, it will act as a blocker for the vehicles on our right, potentially giving us an opportunity to emerge. And this is the perfect blocker. We can see it clearly from a distance, we can anticipate its path, we can prepare to move off, and execute the maneuver safely and effectively. However, always make sure that the traffic on your right is actually waiting to give your blocker priority before moving off. Now let's look at the grey car in the outside lane and consider where it could go. Based on its position and the lane markings, it has two possible options: it could follow the road ahead, taking the second exit, or turn left, taking the first exit. Either way, it won't affect us or the traffic on our right, so it's not going to help us in any way. Now, let's look at the cars approaching in the inside lanes. We'll start with the green car approaching from our left. Based on its position and, hopefully, its right indicator on, this car has two possible routes. It could turn right taking the third exit, or continue all the way around the roundabout and take the fourth exit. Could this car help us by blocking the traffic approaching from our right? Absolutely. But there's a potential risk when we use this car as our blocker. If it takes the third exit, turning right, it becomes an excellent blocker and gives us a great opportunity to emerge. However, if it continues all the way around and takes the fourth exit, it will eventually be on our right, so we must give way to it. If we emerge before it, we could force it to slow down or change direction, and we mustn't do that. So, before committing to the emerge, we need to reduce that risk by looking for as many clues as possible. Pay close attention to its speed, positioning and body language to help predict where it's going. Never force another road user to change speed or direction when you emerge. If you're not 100% sure it's safe to emerge, don't go. And the same principle applies to another car in the inside lane on this particular roundabout. The orange car opposite us is in the inside lane, which is dedicated to vehicles turning right or going all the way around. Whichever exit it takes, at some point it will be on our right, so we must give way to it. On a larger roundabout, with a bigger central island, a car like this could become a potential blocker, as it may eventually prevent the cars on our right from emerging. However, because of the size of this particular roundabout, the window for emerging is very small. Only a driver who is ready, quick and confident can safely execute a gap like this. If you are not sure you can do it safely, don't go. And being ready, quick and confident at a busy roundabout means understanding how it works, reading the traffic properly, and being prepared to move off quickly when a safe opportunity presents itself. The footwork and the ability to set the clutch just below the biting point are crucial here. As soon as we see an opportunity developing, we should raise the clutch pedal to just below the bite, so the car is almost ready to move. Then, when the opportunity arrives and we've checked that it's safe to go, we can execute the move off quickly and smoothly. If the clutch is fully pressed down and we only start looking for the biting point once the opportunity is already there, it may be gone by the time we're ready to move. Being confident doesn't mean taking unnecessary risks. Quite the opposite. Confidence means knowing where to look, understanding the risks, and knowing what to do when the opportunity arrives. Timing is crucial. If you emerge too early, you risk moving into the path of a car on your right that is also taking the gap. But if you wait too long, those cars may have already started moving, and the opportunity will be gone. The sweet spot is when the blocker is around the 1 to 2 o'clock position. At this point, you have the best chance of seeing what is happening, judging the movement of the other vehicles and, if the gap is safe, emerging at the right moment. But remember, only use a blocker when you are 100% confident you can complete the maneuver safely, not 99%, but 100%. If there is any doubt at all, wait. The blocker is there to help create a safe opportunity, not to justify taking a risk. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe. I've got more videos just like this coming soon.